It was a frosty January 25th when Colin and his friends gathered in an old Scottish manor to celebrate Burns Night. They recited poetry, feasted on haggis, and raised glasses of whisky to the memory of Robert Burns. The dimly lit hall flickered with candlelight, shadows dancing on the ancient stone walls. "Burns loved a good ghost story," Colin said, grinning. "They say his spirit roams these lands, searching for lost verses never published." The group laughed, dismissing the tale as whiskey-fueled folklore. But when the clock struck midnight, a cold draft swept through the room, extinguishing the candles. The laughter faded into silence. "Wind," muttered Colin, relighting a flame. But the chill lingered, prickling the hairs on the back of their necks. That's when the whispers began, faint, fragmented verses carried by the wind. The words were familiar, yet twisted, dark renditions of Burns' poetry. "I heard something upstairs," one guest said nervously. Colin, emboldened by the whiskey, insisted they investigate. They climbed the creaking stairs to a dusty study filled with books and cobwebbed relics. In the center stood an old writing desk with parchment and a quill, both untouched for decades. Suddenly, the quill lifted on its own, scratching frantically across the yellowed page. The group froze as words materialized. "I write still, though my flesh is gone." The bard eternal, trapped in song. Panicking, Colin knocked over the inkwell, black ink spilling like shadows onto the floor. The whispers turned to an anguished wail, and a figure flickered into view. Gaunt, spectral, eyes hollow with torment. "It's just a trick," Colin whispered, trying to convince himself, but the figure extended a skeletal hand toward him, its voice echoing coldly. "You recite my words for joy, now bear my curse." The next morning, Colin's friends found the study empty. Colin was never seen again, but every Burns night locals claimed to hear his voice, reciting poetry from behind locked doors, trapped, like Burns, in an endless ghostly verse.